Oi oi! What's your blokes and blokettes in this video? The second episode of Fedosuia, the Focus RS rebuild. I finished tearing apart our front end and start putting it back together again. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate it very much. We're gonna roll the tape. I'll pick it up the other side, dig in right into our front end. See you soon. Watcher, blokes and blokettes, you're through to Oi Works. I'm the Baldy Brit bloke, and this is my YouTube channel. Oi oi! Oi oi! Please subscribe, please like, please comment, please share. Oi oi! Alright, my little project now is to take off this pipe, which is an air conditioning pipe. It's quite badly bent and it's got some nasty dings in it. I'm not too sure if they are actual punctures, but I'm going to replace it anyway, so there's no restrictions. This has taken a hefty old whack. It's actually broken it here, split it here, look. And also the other thing that's happened is these pipes. Mountune very kindly sent me new ones, and the reason being is that they acted as shock absorbers for part of the accident and saved quite a lot of this, at least I hope they saved a lot of this, being further damaged. But they ended up being really badly split. There's a bad split here and there's a bad split on the back side, and this one has a split just down here. When I take them off, I'll show you a bit closer. So this is my project for now, get these little bits and pieces off. I believe that's an oil cooler. Take this off, all in preparation for starting the rebuild on her. There is no air conditioning gas in the system. I'm assuming it came out in the accident, but there is still a faint smell of it, and it is disgusting. Absolutely gross smell. There's some big old dings there, look. That looks like it might actually be through. And there's the other one. Quite a big gouge, look. And now we get to the oil system. Okie dokie. It's hit so hard that the seal from the oil filter is squeezed out. So I'm going to lift you up a bit so you can see what's going on up here. Good. Well, I'm glad there's still some oil left in there, because that would have helped protect the engine when it stopped so suddenly. It's raining quite nicely out there. Nice summer rain. Alright, now let's spin off this oil filter quickly. Shit. There's a funny little sensor just there. I'm not too sure what it's called, but I've got to replace it. It's broken, so I'm going to do that now. Okay. The feed and return pipes on this oil cooler, there's all the coolant flashing through them, and the heat streams, they get really gummed on, so I had to use a little spike to release them. So there she is. First things first, just got to get this little thing out here. This little thing I now believe is an oil pressure sensor. This is not actually the tool I should be using, but it will have to do. Now I'm not too sure if this actually even needs replacing, but as it was so close to the point of impact, I didn't want to risk there being anything broken inside. There's not a lot that can go wrong with them, but I didn't want there to be anything out of alignment or any hidden cracks, so I bought a new one. I'm going to thread the oil pressure sensor onto the new oil filter housing before I open the car. Quick clean up of the mating surfaces, and then let's get this oil filter housing onto Fedosuia. Excuse my pedicure if you see my feet in the picture. Alright, so now it's time to put the oil cooler on. The oil cooler sits on top of the oil filter housing, and it's a heck of a lot easier to put it on before it's on the car. Smearing a bit of old engine oil inside the air filter thread just to help it thread onto the oil filter housing. Now to put that replacement air conditioning pipe on. Time for the new Mountune intercooler pipes. How good do they look? I'm just going to give this radiator a rinse through. I'm doing this to dislodge any swarf or dust that might have built up in the radiator while it was being manufactured. That'll clean it all out nice. Got to reuse some of the bits and pieces off the old radiator and radiator fan assembly, so here I am just swapping them over to the new ones. Installing the new air conditioning cooler. Time to give Fedosuia her new front teeth. Lower radiator mounting bracket or lower radiator mounting bar is a piece that took the main brunt of the accident that she was in at the front. I mean, it was quite badly bent, the old one, so this is an important piece. It's what the radiator assembly actually sits on. Alrighty then, time for the Mountune intercooler. So there we are. For the time being, everything is just a couple of turns in on the bolts. Freshening up the intercooler, a couple of quick licks of blue and matte black paint. Have her looking good as new again. Not perfect yet, but what I'm going to do is, once the letters are dried for a day or so, mask them off and then go over it with the matte black again. But I want to make sure that it's all properly tied in before I do that, because I scratch it or get it dirty. Matte black applied, now let's take that masking off. Well happy. Bear with me while I'm, this is for the windshield washer bottle. Okay, so I need a new one of them. Oh, drat. Okay, that's going to do for the time being. Let's go around to the ECU side, and we are going to fit the ECU cover. You got to be kidding me! Brand new and the flipping it's broken. Shit. Never fear, blokes and blokettes. I found another bit of plastic that was the same, heat welded it later that evening, and she's good as gold. So now I've got to clean these out, I'm going to blow those out. The ECU goes in here and then the cap goes on. I'm really pleased with how that came out. So now I know I've got to get a few more bits, which is cool, which is fine, and the pump, I think, which goes here. Well, there is quite a storm going on outside, and I had hoped to have this door open and get some better light here, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. Earlier this afternoon I snuck out to Pick and Save. They are my wreckers. That's where I got Fedosuia from, and Fiona. They also do the salvage vehicle and clean titled vehicles that you can rebuild, the rebuilder section. That's where these two girls came from. And I pulled off a couple of bits from a Focus that was in there. So I was very, very happy, and it will get me to the point where I can fill up the windshield wash reservoir, and fingers crossed that these pieces work okay. I'm sure they will. So just cleaning the mud out of this. This one goes in here. That's it. Now she has a tear here in her cables, which is okay, I can repair that. And this is the pump. Sweet. Okay, now off you come, and on you go. Lovely jubbly. Oh, that's a good rumble of thunder. Now listen to the budgies. So this is the windshield washer pump I'm just pushing into place here. And we're going to sort that out now. Magic, eh? And there we are, as good as gold, perfect. So I'm going to swing over the other side now and click in the ECU. Okay, this is the moment that I have been waiting for. This is the piece that was stolen. This is the engine management unit. This is what will have to be programmed. Job jobbed, ECU in. Now let's set about sorting out our fluids. Alright. Oi oi, move your shoulder a bit there fella. Trying to see what's going on. She's pink. Sweet. Now to get underneath Fedosuia and sort her oil out. Last night before I went to bed, I checked the oil level in her and it's quite good, thankfully. What that means is, well, I was worried that as a result of the accident she lost a lot of her oil, just the pump had kept pumping it out of the oil cooler, which is not very good if that did happen, because it means the engine would have cooled down artificially quick without oil in it, and that could lead to damage. But it appears she still has a lot of oil in her, which is excellent. So I'm just going to drain that now and then put that new Castrol in that I've got, a 5 to 50 watt. Sweet. Yes, she still has quite a bit of oil in there, which is excellent. That's good. That's good, there's quite a lot of oil in there. So, while that's draining, let's have a go at filling up her water. Her coolant system, which is not going to be completely full because she can't run yet, so once she's run for a bit I'm sure there'll be some air bubbles. Hey. I do have some distilled water, but I'll just leave it for a bit. I'm going to squeeze the pipes underneath that go into the radiator. Just make sure that I've got as much of the air bubbles out of the way as possible. So at the moment that is sitting in the middle of the minimum and maximum. There's the maximum, there's the minimum. So I'm going to leave that now. There's no leaks underneath, so fingers crossed all the pipes are correctly fitted. That's our Maserati. So the oil's been draining for about an hour, slowly dripping out. Now is the time to put the new stuff in. So we'll give that a little bit of a chance to settle, work its way through. Alright, that'll be good enough for it to start and run anyway. Confession time. I had to get a new battery for Fedosuia and I didn't bother to film it because I thought it would just be taking a battery out and it wouldn't be interesting enough for you. Anyway, it's a lot more involved than I had originally thought, so I'm going to just quickly record it putting it back in, because I had to release this cowl and take the airbox out, or the top of it off, and it's such a tight fit. All sorted. Quickly jump inside, see what the ignition says and does. Boom. Hopefully not too long. She's not very happy because her ECU is not programmed. But hopefully It won't be long before that is done. Alright. Okie dokie then, for those of you that have stayed till the end, quick recap of what we did. Put in the windshield wash reservoir, connected up the pump, the float system, filled it up, filled up the coolant, filled up the oil, put the old intercooler back on. The brackets were repaired by a little company down in Dundas, thanks guys. I resprayed it, put the air conditioning condenser and cooler back on, the radiator back in, and the radiator fan assembly behind, all back. The air conditioning pipe that was badly dented, the Mountune pipe work that was all split up, and oil cooler and oil filter, and the ECU back on. While I've still got your attention, this steering rod needs to be replaced. That's the one that's bent. There's something under here that is needing replaced. I haven't managed to see what it is yet, but that wheel is kinked out. This needs to be worked on. I'm quite confident that'll be an easy repair. And then this side, where she's all slapped in, I've got the new glass panel that came in the mail just last week, and I put a shout out to Pick and Save to see if they can find me one of those in the next week or so. If not, then I'll have to buy a new one. But the other thing that I noticed is this little caliper shim needs to be sorted out because it's all bent out. Okay, you still with me? Because if you are, I've got a little teaser treat. Boom! How cool is that? Can't wait to see those fizzing. Well, what do you think? Is she going to start? Let's have a go, shall we? I'm sorry, I can't tell you. You'll have to wait till the next episode. Stay safe, stay well. Keep right except to pass, and I'll see you all very soon.